In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP. Hey, Gumpers.
Hey, hola, bon dia, alegria, Munson here from Good Morning Portugal, Expats Portugal and the Good Morning Portugal live stream, show and podcast. How you doing? I see you, Baddy. I see you, Baddy, in the chat. And, of course, looking forward to seeing you today, later on today, between 1 and 3 at the Silver Coast meetup. It's a beautiful day already here on the Silver Coast. 1 minute past 8:30. That's a strange way of saying the time, isn't it? But showtime is 8:30, and we're a couple of minutes in. And it's already very hot, and there's not much breeze moving the air around in the studio this morning. So maybe I need a fan. I need my biggest fan in the studio. I need to get it from the attic and bring it down, and we need to have a constant whirring in the background, but it'll be worth it. It's a hot one today. A strange day yesterday, muggy. I think it was a little bit like that in other parts of Portugal yesterday. Anticipating a thunderstorm. Didn't come here. I don't know what your weather was like, if you had a spectacular thunderstorm in Portugal, or if you had amazing weather, unusual weather, and especially if you took photographs of it. Send them in on 003519135900303. How's everyone doing this morning? How are you? And if you think when I say how are you this morning, he's just talking to other people. I'm talking to you. How are you this morning? Let us know. Tudo bem? Como estás? Please let me know in the chat. Andy's just in. Bon dia, everyone. Hope you all have a fabulous day, and all of you has a fabulous day. That's lovely, Andy. Thank you very much. And thank you for your continued contributions of events onto our events section on expatsportugal.com, our website, of course, the calendar-what's-on calendar section. I'm going to put that into the chat now so that you can go look for yourself to see that Andy doesn't even sleep. He's up all the time posting events from the Bairrada region there. That's in the chat now. I suspect we've got some Portuguese sayings, some anonymous quotes, some Portuguese history, and a little bit. Oh, and a Mark Twain. Let's look. This is we get the get the motor running intellectually, and no doubt soon after emotionally. This morning. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. See what's going on in the chat. Bon dia, imigrante, from the prof this morning, and the Benfica picture. Still his profile picky there. We heard about Benfica yesterday and their victory, and some excellent football commentary and jokes. More of that, I suspect, later on when Michael Heron joins us. Spain are playing, 1st of June, I should say that, shouldn't I? 1st of June. But tomorrow, I believe, Spain and Portugal are playing in Spain, which is, of course, a big event for any self-respecting Spanish or Portuguese football fan. Or I suppose anyone with an interest in football will have their attention turned towards that fixture. And Michael Heron, I suspect, might have something to say about it. I tell you what, let's mix things up a little bit, shall we? Really enjoyed yesterday's. Thank you for all your contributions yesterday, eventually, for the show yesterday when we had wonderful Karen Telling. Telling is a really good name, isn't it, for somebody who writes books, who speaks. Telling. There she is, writing 2 books in the Algarve. Great to speak to her. And, of course, to Christina, Sigrid, and Wendy thereafter, talking about alternative, revolutionary, the prof called them. So let's stay with the prof now and do a little bit of this. Scoobity Bob. Ba ba ba. Da 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 da. Boo boo boo. Oh, now if you're not a fan of the doo-wop, that must be quite difficult. I still haven't sorted that bit out. I don't know what I did to that to make it play a little, to repeat on itself at the end there. Any road, yes. If you're not a fan of doo-wop, that must be quite difficult for you. Every day that I play that, I think it's great. That, of course, if you didn't know, is the Portuguese national anthem in a doo-wop style, done for us by Warren Charm. I haven't heard from you for a while, Warren. Hope you're okay. Today in Portuguese history, 1928, and Portugal adopts driving on the right-hand side of the road. Whoa, okay. Is this a thing around the world that people started on the left, perhaps, and then decided to do it in a different way? It's really not brilliant, is it? I mean, yeah, here we go. New World Order sort of stuff. Let's have a standard for around the world. In this instance, it would be quite sensible, wouldn't it? But I suppose it's a really good insight into the way humans work, that some choose one side of the road and some others. That's so human, isn't it? And at the same time, as well as it being human and saying, yes, it's good that we can choose whichever side of the road we want. And we're different from those other people and we're like those people. It does cause us a problem, but it's a problem we're willing to entertain just so that we can be different if we want to be. That is such a brilliant human story right there. I haven't even started a human history yet. Went straight into a bit of psychology. 1928, Portugal adopts driving on the right-hand side of the road. And not to be confused with Van Morrison's light. Is it the light side of the road? That's how they drive in Ireland, I think. Curiously, it was started in Lisbon from dawn. The rest of, yes, curiously, with the rest of the country following from midnight that day. So that woe betide, and I wonder what happened when somebody drove into Lisbon from the countryside into Lisbon that had started driving on the right-hand side at dawn when they were thinking they didn't have to do it until midnight. What could possibly go wrong? I think I'm justified in using that overused phrase there. Really, that's quite an extraordinary today in Portuguese history. Thank you very much indeed. And until then, could you drive only on the left, or could you drive wherever you're damn well pleased? I wonder. The new traffic rule was the subject, oh, here we go, of a major awareness campaign. It was all over Facebook. I remember it. No. Organized by Diario de Noticias. They've been around a while then, haven't they? Sponsored by Vacuum Oil. Wow, Uja, vacuum oil. No, it's not going to be vacuum oil in Portuguese, is it? But I can imagine that done in a Portuguese commercial radio style would have been very special. Fija, though through posters and banners placed all over the country. Well, they would have had to, wouldn't they? Whilst you're looking at this poster, you should be driving on the right-hand side of the road. And if you lived here, you'd be home by now. With censorship in place, some press at the time took advantage of the new circulation. No, they really? Some press at the time took advantage of the new circulation rules to comment on the political orientation of the military dictatorship, i.e. the move to the right. Extraordinary. You see, there's no escape from politics, friends. There's just occasional relief. And I erotic novel entry. I think I missed one of those yesterday. Yes, I am the man who can provide you with occasional relief in the mornings from politics. That is, you smutty-minded individuals. Honestly, God Squad tip of the day. And who doesn't like a tip of the day first thing in the morning? Walking upstairs, yeah, what a start. Walking upstairs is great for your quads and glutes, the best legs and bum exercise. I'm just hearing advertising slogans in my head for the best legs and bum exercise. Just walk up the stairs, although we can't add any value to that. So here are some special new trainers designed for walking up the stairs. Don't forget to hold the banister. Try 2 steps at a time. Oh my God, this is really getting quite exciting now. 2 steps at a time. And if you're really adventurous, run up them. Be careful. Be careful running up the stairs. Now, the emphasis is on up. And not what happens? Does your bottom become flabbier when you walk down the stairs as opposed to up? I wonder. No pictures, thank you. New traffic rules being hijacked by political commentators. Bon dia gumpers. I wonder what Salazar's response was to that political. Well, I suppose the same as his response to any political commentary, right? Just to ignore it and find the perpetrators and injure them in some way, I suspect. Bon dia gumpers. Feliz carta toros from James. Looking for the slug, not in this forest. There can't be a redwood, can it? Can't be a redwood forest. Mark Twain quote of the day from James this morning. His head was an hourglass. It could stow an idea, but it had to do it a grain at a time, not the whole idea at once. A Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's court. What's that? Oh, that's that's a book, is it? Which is a very interesting pretext, isn't it? A premise for a book. Excuse me. Very good. I haven't even finished drinking my tea this morning. But I have a new Good Morning Portugal mug, having given the last one away. Excellent, from which I'm sipping my tea. Tea Duck is in as well. Bon dia, alegria, gumpers. And sadly, I'll miss the show today and the meetup later. What's going on? Was it something I said? More like something No, okay, let's not go there. But I do have time for some Portuguese sayings. Good, I'm so glad to hear it. Descascar or abacaji. Abacaji. That's pineapple. Peel the pineapple. Solve a problem. Yeah, I guess it's like grasping the nettle, isn't it? Grasping the pineapple, and in order to peel it, to clean it, and thereby solving a problem. Yes, peel that pineapple, folks. This morning, if you're dithering, get on with it and peel that pineapple. If you ever hear that, descascar abacaji, you know what you're being encouraged to do. Enfiar o pé na jaca. Stick your what? Another encouragement here. Stick your foot in the breadfruit. Now, I'm just not sure what jaca is and breadfruit. What's that? Is that a bread we haven't encountered yet here in Portugal? Just go for it then. Just do it. Portuguese for just do it. Enfiar o pé. Stick your foot in the breadfruit there, obviously. And maybe the Portuguese of old used to knead the bread with their feet. Is that where that comes from? I can hear you saying. Extra yeast, though. Think of that. And more of a rise. And who doesn't like more of a rise? First thing, engolir, sarpush, swallow the frog. This is so much good advice here. Just in 3 Portuguese quotes. Bite one's tongue, not somebody else's. Bite your own tongue. We're not going into Johnny and Amber territory here on the Good Morning Portugal show. And some anonymous quotes. They're still good, aren't they? It's just you can't give credit to whoever came up with it. Everything happens for a reason, but sometimes things happen because you made a bad decision. But then, have you noticed? I mean, we're all capable and guilty of this, aren't we? And we often say, "Well, it must have happened for a reason." Thinking, I wonder what that reason was. Stupid reason. But then kind of make it okay by saying, "Well, the reason is I needed another learning experience." There's your reason right there. I am not lazy. I'm on energy saving mode. That sounds a lot like who might that be? The chap whose name escapes me now, but one of our quotable quotas from before. One of the comedians, right? He's from the comedy circuit, I think. Home is where you trust the toilet seat. And that's probably the truest of all the things I've heard so far this morning. It's so true, isn't it? Especially when it's slightly warm, as is the studio seat this morning. Mrs. M, if you like Mrs. M's conversations with Rick in Bali, if you don't know Rick in Bali and you don't know Mrs. M's conversations with Rick in Bali, you can find them on a Feel Good Astrology channel. Feel Good Conversations. She's up at 6:30 in the morning, feeling good, allegedly. That ungodly hour for us talking to Rick in Bali, talking of things of a spiritual nature. I'm having enlightening, enlivening, and entertaining conversations. And home is where you trust the toilet seat. I doubt that came up during their conversation this morning, as I don't suppose this one did it as well. Remember to check under the car. Yes, going back to the Salazar days, and when you'd of course had to do that and still have to do that in certain parts of the world. Oh my goodness. Hola, fantásticos. She's calling us the Fantastics. Isn't that lovely? Aquí está chuva y mais chuva. Lots of rain up in the north end. So you have had the thunderstorm. Was it dramatic, Rebel Mama? Good morning to you. Baddy, see you later. Yeah, seeing you guys at the meetup today. Looking forward to that. Bon dia alegria from Baddy. And Anna's in. Bon dia todos. Just in case you didn't see your picture yesterday, Anna, I'm delighted to show your lovely view from your balcony. Look at that. VRSA. And I had another morning, Anna, and I had a lovely, keep those pictures coming. Actually, I need to show you this picture at the same time. So I don't know. Anna's picture, that's a sunset, I would say. It will be a sunset, won't it? Please say that it's a sunset. Well, only so I don't look silly. But then again, why would I be afraid of that? Every morning here. Let's go for the purposes of what I'm about to say, for the setup for the next photo. That is your sunset at VRSA down there in the Algarve. Meanwhile, in Alaska, and that's not a Moorish influence, is it? Alaska. Like Algarve or Al Jaborota. No, I don't think Alaska comes from the same roots, but who knows? The Moors might have been. It's been a bit chilly, right? Could get there. This would have freaked them out. If the Moors had gone to Alaska, this is what they would have experienced at midnight. That's the light level at midnight. I don't think there's any filtering. You can see some lights are on the porch there. But there's Alaska at midnight, where there's very little nighttime at the moment. And Marty, thank you so much for that. Amazing. Quite extraordinary. Matty, not Marty, we go from Marty to Matty. Did you manage to find a whistling kettle? Heronius Maximus joins me at 9, everybody. Ask anything about Portugal, and you know the sorts of things. Well, he's capable of talking about anything to do with Portugal, I would say. Let's test him at 9 o'clock, shall we? There's our events guide. Please put your event up as well. You'll need to be registered as an Expats Portugal member, which is a small price to pay because you'll get a hell of a lot of value for that. No, you don't have to pay for the basic level of membership at Expats Portugal. There are 3 levels, Premium and Premium Plus. Premium Plus being the one where you get extra hand-holding, not literally, although it might be arranged. Free. We just need you to be registered. I think that's probably quite a good policy, isn't it, to have you registered so we don't get those spamming of unsavory posters and events, so we know that we can at least try and trace or get rid of anyone who's posting anything inappropriate. But please, so many events happening now around Portugal. Please put them up on expatsportugal.com /calendar what's on guide, if you will. Be really grateful to you. It's a really good service to other people for them to get a flavor of what goes on around in the entirety of the country. And lots is going on right now. Like I said, the Portuguese people are so ready to party, and they are, and they will be for some time yet. I think spring and summer. Happy first day of June, by the way. And it's really good as well if people are looking at a locality to see what festas are available. So please do that as a service to the world, to all of us. If you want to do a good deed, stick up some festive events on the events page at Good Morning. Sorry, at Expats Portugal. What am I talking about? This is the Good Morning Portugal show with me, Carl Munson. Good morning. Hope you're all having a beautiful morning. Thank you, Kawaii Pandas. Great to see you back. I will be coming to Portugal on the 8th to look at some schools. I hope. Are you a school spotter? A bit like train spotting. You go and look at a school and you tick that one off. I suspect not. I think you're trying to get a child into school here. I hope the rain stops, though. I suspect I shall bring the English weather. You better not. Don't do that. Kawaii Pandas. I thought did that come on while I was playing the national anthem? I suspect it did. Bon dia from Brian. Brian, me and Mrs. M stood in the kitchen yesterday looking longingly. Well, me anyway. I don't know if she was looking. She was looking at the video of the vertical rotisserie and thinking, why? Why? I had to explain that. Carl, why have you got a video of a kebab turning slowly on your phone? Explain yourself. I can explain, love. I can explain. Good morning, people. Taking 15 minutes to have a coffee in the sun. Good for you. So glad to hear it. You might have gone already. No, just about still here. Having a smoke and a coffee. The old, is that called the Mexican breakfast? That gets the day started, gets all sorts of things started, doesn't it? A cigarette and a coffee. Bon dia todos. Antonio F is here. Good morning, Antonio. How you doing? Bon dia then from Brian, from Pam as well this morning. And a shout out to Eusebio from Antonio F. And what's this? Aquí también esperamos chuva. So some rain in Antonio F's part of the country as well. At least it'll give us, there we go. There's a reason for everything, as T-Duck was saying. Is that what he said? Something like that. Everything happens for a reason. The reason it's raining is to fill up the reservoirs. There we go. That was deftly done, wasn't it? Linking up all the comments this morning. Hola, bon dia, kids. Partly cloudy here in Praia da Rocha, but so lovely. No rain there. Bon dia, alegria gambas from Cindy B as well. Maybe see you at the meetup, Cindy B. And, okay, here we go. James. Abakashi. Abacaxi. That's what I said, isn't it? Abacaxi. The X sound is very nice and sexy in Portuguese, isn't it? Abacaxi. Okay, I beg your pardon. So Salazar wasn't in charge yet in 1928. And there were 31,000 cars on the Portuguese roads at the time. Must have been chaos. Mainly in Lisboa and Porto. The change was to align with European neighbours and to stop that trouble happening on the borders, I suppose, that you get where the English people come off the ferry and into France, and people just stand by the roadside and watch to see what's going to happen, right? Looking for the slug, not in this forest. Is that Spanish or Galgo there, James? Okay, interesting. Moaz is in as well. Bon dia, Carl. Itoros. We're going to have a look at the papers when Michael joins us this morning. The Portugal news no, actually, the Portugal Resident has a very fine spread of headlines this morning that I think you might want to learn a little bit more about and cast your opinion into the chat about too. Did you hear about Lisbon Airport being the worst in the world? A little bit of a misleading headline. It's not like the papers, is it, to do an attention-grabbing headline? But they did that, and they said that Lisbon Airport was the worst in the world. I think that's a bit unfair. Portugal's richest citizen files lawsuit against EU sanctions. I wonder who that might be. Who is Portugal's richest citizen? Are they Portuguese? No. Well, they are, aren't they? They're a Portuguese citizen, but are they? This is an awkward one, isn't it? Where were they from originally before they became a citizen of Portugal? A slightly difficult political situation there. Zero pollution beaches, 58 in Portugal, the highest number ever. That's rather good to know, isn't it? And Ceph extinction. Guess what, everybody? Government changes goalposts again. Now, there can't be any more holes left in the ground, can there? Moving the goalposts, such as they are. Or did they just use jumpers for goalposts? Plenty of jumpers. No one needs their jumpers with the rise in temperature at the moment. So Ceph can borrow your jumper if they want to move the goalposts again. And good, what lovely news in this special week for the United Kingdom. Princess Eugenie and husband moved to Portugal. Actually, maybe they're kind of, psychologically suffering from a sort of Republican frame of mind themselves, having benefited from being part of the royal family and now moving to Portugal. What's going on there? We might find out later. From Michael Heron, OBE. Tourism VAT revenue should be used to promote Portugal. Well, that would make a lot of sense, wouldn't it? Those and other headlines. And the latest Fast and Furious. That is the name of a film franchise, everybody, and not something else. Latest Fast and Furious to be filmed in Portugal. Quite a lot of filming going on. Batalha was closed to Friends recently because of the filming. And where else has filming been going on for the new Netflix series? Tamara and Batalha have been busy with film crews. Quite nice when there's a film crew about. If you just rock up to the catering thing and pretend to be an extra, you can get yourself a nice little lunch. Hola bon dia. Not that I would recommend that to you. That would be wrong. Hola bon dia. Clearing skies in Leiria this morning. Have a great day, everyone. Did I miss any dad jokes yesterday? They talk about Fast and Furious. They were coming in Fast and Furious yesterday. I think it's something to do with the length of the leaves. What? Talking of length of leaves, we have a lovely event to share with you. This really is actually, I've got an old photo I took 11 years ago. I'm going to show you this. If you've ever wondered where I am from before I came to Portugal, it's here, everybody. Sorry, just for a moment, I'm going to take your comment off there for a moment. Owen, come back to you. Good morning, mate. Good to see you here. How many people have we got who've promised to come to the barbecue? This is where I'm from, the southwest of the UK. And I really love this photograph. This was a sunset in Devon with a sheep on the site where I used to live in Devon. It wasn't always like that, but that was an especially moody evening. That was posted 11 years ago to Facebook. That's how it came to my attention. But I really love that photo of the sunset there and the sheep on the hillock. And who doesn't? Anyway, National Garden Week, June the 5th to the 11th, from the National Garden Clubs. I think it's a global thing. So what a better week to start gardening. That'll be next week. You put it off for another week. Gardening adds years to your life and life to your years. Another unknown quote. National Garden Week starting next, I guess that's next Monday, is it? The 5th of June. And running on to the 11th, and a good time to there'll be a lot of information around. There's a lot of information in our gardening group, which is the Happy Homesteaders the Get Out and Grow project on Facebook, the Facebook group. Lots of support from the head gardener who's in this morning, having a smoke and a coffee in Lisbon this morning. Can you hear that? Dog's going crazy. Not mine. In the distance there, dog's barking. Pineapple is ananas. Okay, so what is abacaxi then? Interesting. You're right, aren't you? But aren't there two names for pineapple? Ooh, let's ask Michael Heron when he gets here at 9 and put him on the spot straight away. Bon dia alegria, rain and tractor tire on. Hold on a minute. Is Pete wearing a tractor tire this morning? There was a new fashion thing called has everyone seen the jandal? It is, you know how these fashion phrases come and go, jeggings, those sorts of things. There's the jandal, apparently. I'm going to show you a picture of the jandal now. This could be the look for this summer for you. And I will put it onto the screen in just a moment. The jandal. Oh, here it is. I'm just trying to find it. So jorts, of course. Jorts are jeans, shorts made of denim, aren't they? Your cut-offs. I know them as cut-off jeans, your jorts. But we're making way or complementing. You can go double denim now if you wear your jorts and your jandals. And here they are coming onto this. Oh, here they are coming onto the screen near you right now. Magnus, are you in this morning? Good boy. There you go. I'm tired of jorts this year. I'm tired of jorts. This year is the summer of jandals. Sorry, Pete. Let me just take your comment off so everyone can see the jandals. They would look pretty good, wouldn't they, in the Algarve? There with your toes poking through and a nice little bit of cover, a little bit of modesty for the ankle. They're somewhat Victorian, aren't they, in their own way, covering the modesty of the ankle there. I understand the ankle was seen as quite a racy thing back in Victorian times in the UK. Now, Pete, rain and tractor. So he's wearing a tractor tyre. Is that what it's come to in central Portugal? It's raining. It's time to put on the tractor tyre. It's a gloriously moist day, and it will be, Pete, if you're only wearing a tractor tyre this morning. Please, actually, yes, send a picture of that. You look like a Wurzel, I suspect. Does anyone else? I showed a picture of Devon where people are familiar with Wurzels. Anyone else a Wurzel fan? I am. And I think Pete can probably sing some of their songs, the farmer that he is in central Portugal. Where have we gone now? We have got the a bit of pineapple gate going on. Is it ananas or abacaxi? We're wondering. And I'm trying to take the image off the screen by moving comments. Come on, Carl, get a grip this morning. The mystery of abacaxi and pineapple, a reflection of the language. Elra, okay, Elra's, I think, got to the bottom of this. We do like to get to the bottom of things here. Abacaxi, I was given the pronunciation. Pineapple is ananas. I can't wait to find out. Bon dia todos from Jim and Mandy. I didn't find Karen on the forum. She might not be on there, Moaz, is a possibility there. I'd like to ask her how to get the disability letter from a doctor. Serenity, I'm sure, will be able to help you with that. Karen, Amazon might be the best way to do that. Her Amazon, or just send me a message and I'll ask her if I can introduce you both. Okay, if she will receive fan mail from not just from you. I'm not singling you out for that treatment, but I was just about to give her email address out. I thought maybe it's only for personal purposes and not commercial purposes. So let me check with her first. But I'd be delighted to put you in touch and sort you out with that. I think it's something to do with the length of the leaves. I think it's smaller than a pineapple. Ooh, pineapple inflames my gums, but abacaxi doesn't. Inflamed gums, that'll be the acid in the fruit, won't it? But how do you know that before you've eaten it? Give it a lick in the supermarket. Nobody will mind that, James. The variety of answers I've gotten. Another life lesson there. How can you tell? How can you tell what's going to happen before you do it? It is such the lot, isn't it, of human beings to actually have to experience things. We do a lot of guessing, don't we? We do a lot of speculation, pontification, etc., etc. But as it turns out with human beings, we kind of need. I think that's why the world is like it is, isn't it? Because we're just trying things out. It's a tough old wicket to bat, isn't it? Looking for the slug, not in this forest. Abacaxi is sweeter than a pineapple and doesn't come from the Azores. Elra, thank you so much. I think we're some way to solving this then. That the abacaxi is sweeter. Oh, ananas would be coming from the Azores. I don't know. I'm confused now. Maria Fernanda Amorim, the widow of the businessman Americo Amorim, and her family are in 601st place and are the only Portuguese representatives on the Forbes list of the richest billionaires in 2022. And how did they make their money? Because it's always interesting to know about the backstory, isn't it, of the wealthy. But Portugal, way down there, perhaps another reflection of the Portuguese soul, that the single-pointed focus on accumulation of wealth is not a high priority culturally here. And hence finding themselves in 601st place. Who was it the other day? It was Nelson at Palmeira. We'll be at Palmeira for the meetup. I think Jerry said to him, because there's a slatted deck, which sounds like a British pudding, doesn't it? That's spotted dick. Slatted deck is something else. It's where we sit at the meetup. And every now and then somebody will drop a coin on this slatted deck. And it rolls in between the gaps, doesn't it? There's another funny old thing about life. When you drop coins on a slatted deck, often your small change drops through the cracks. And we suspected that Nelson might be very wealthy one day when if and when he moves on from the cafe and takes up the deck there. There could be thousands of euros underneath there in small change. I mean, I think Jerry said to me, "You're a wealthy man, Nelson," and he said, I am very, very wealthy." And he kind of gave us this long poetic pause and played with us for a little while with his delivery, and he said, "Yes, I've got good health. That is everything." And I think that is a widely held Portuguese sentiment. See you later, Nelson. Oh my goodness, I got this button now. I don't need to cough on you. That's better. Now a sip of tea, which hopefully won't inflame my gums. Thank you, Mrs. M. Good day, says Ryan Grunewald. As a digital nomad coming on the D7 visa, is it after 5 or 6 years that one can apply for citizenship? An understandable question, because it's after 5 years and in the 6th year, as I understand it. And let's ask Michael about that, because I suspect Michael's close to that threshold if he's not there already. Bon Dia found out that the Alentejo is bicycle touring paradise over the weekend. Fantastic. Not far for you to go then. You can probably catch a train you're in Setúbal, aren't you? Which I think is still is that its own district, Setúbal? Tell us, please, if you will, about that's another thing I can ask Michael when Michael comes as well. But yeah, Alentejo, I can see that it will be lovely long roads, lovely long Roman roads to cycle along. I hope the condition of them is good. Bon dia. Stephen, shouldn't you have shades on in this picture? Bon dia from Stephen Wells. Place is still, have we got a maximum? 16 confirmed for the barbecue. Looking forward to it. That's fantastic news. And that's beautiful, Carl. Thank you for sharing. Was that photo of Devon there? Oh, we got some midnight in Alaska photos as well, and the expansive Praia de Rocha as well. Midnight in Alaska photograph. This is incredible. I'm going to download that now and show it to you a little bit later. It's 2 minutes after 9. It is therefore time to welcome onto the screen my dear friend and co-host once a month on an Ask Anything About Portugal Wednesday. Ladies and gentlemen, may I present to you Mr. Michael Heron. Hold it. Don't say anything yet, Michael. There he is. You do like a warm hand on your opening. I know that. Hello, how are you?
That introduction. Thank you. I'm honoured. Thank you. Well, good morning, Carl. Good morning, Gumpers. Good morning, everyone. How are we doing?
We're doing pretty good here. We've got some questions for you already.
Wow, good.
I have. But let's catch up. Let's see, how have you been in this last month? What are you sipping? Fine British tea there?
Coffee. No, it's just a posh. It's just one of my grandmother's old mugs that she gave me before she passed away. So it's just very.
That's a really nice twist. That's so expat of you, isn't it? Drinking Portuguese coffee out of a fine bone china tea set. Very good.
Yeah,
very good.
yeah. Well, it's the little things we do in the mornings to pamper ourselves and make us feel good. So I think it's a.
Well, you're really nailing your colours to the mast there. Two flags in one drink, I think. Right.
Yeah,
right.
yeah. Exactly. It's like a cultural mix that's appropriate, I think.
Very appropriate. Very appropriate.
Don't forget, we have the Portuguese to thank for bringing us tea, right? So I mean,
tell us the story, Michael. I do love this story.
Okay, so basically, well, you're going to put me on the spot now because I don't remember it. It was one of the. It's obviously a royal thing, right? So it was the
Catherine,
Portuguese from when they were exploring. I think they brought tea back for the first time to obviously the royal family in Portugal at the time, and they then shared it with the British royal family at the time, whenever that might have been. And that's kind of where the custom of drinking tea and having afternoon tea and all of that, apparently, where it comes from. And there is even a rumor, although never has it been confirmed, that the word tea are initials for 3 Portuguese words, which means transporte de ervas aromáticas, which translates as the transport of herbs, basically, of aromatic herbs. And the word tea as an abbreviation was written on the side of the cargo ships that were transporting the tea to Portugal. And that's where we got the word tea from. Now, this is urban legend. This is not something that has ever been proven, but I think it's a lovely story.
I think
so. There you go. Good morning, everyone.
Well, he's hit the ground running there. That's an amazing story. My similarly sort of romantic myth around it is, I think it was Catherine, a consort, coming from Portugal to
That's right. It was Catherine. Yeah,
that's right. And on arrival, they yes, as you would do in the English court, gin, and she's being offered a gin, and I think, can you imagine arriving in a gin-soaked English court, and you're on arrival there, meeting your consort? I mean, she may have met them already, of course, but there you are with the in-laws, I suppose, in England, and everyone's offering you gin. And she probably quite shyly, or maybe not, maybe she'd have just been straight out there and said, "Oh yeah," in a Portuguese way. She might have said, "No, tea, please."
Yeah.
And she tea. What is this thing? And I mean, talk about changing history, because tea has become so important to the Brits.
Can you imagine how even more of a drinking culture we would have had if that hadn't happened? I mean, we'd all be dead now. Oh, we wouldn't have survived. We wouldn't have survived. We'd be dead.
We've got a lot to thank the Portuguese for.
We have a lot to thank them for. We have a lot to thank them for. And whoever thought that I would be sober living in Portugal? So, I definitely have a lot to thank the Portuguese.
Oh, here we go. To Catherine.
Indeed,
to Catherine
indeed.
this morning.
You must be only a month away from your year, right?
From my year. Oh, yes, that's right. I was thinking, my year of what? My year of drinking tea. Well, yeah, pretty much.
Not drinking alcohol.
7th of July. Yeah, I'm looking for the only. Do you know what? It's so funny because you inspired me to do that, didn't you? And on one of those occasions, I said, "How's it going for you?" And you said, "Oh, well, I drank some champagne."
It's because I was in Madeira. Do you remember I was in Madeira and it was during the World Cup, so it was kind of like it was.
But you're such an influence on me, because I have had 3 drinks. I've had 2 occasions where I've broken my alcohol abstinence, and it's been champagne or fizz both times.
Yeah.
So I think maybe we don't count fizz. Maybe that's what it is.
I think you're right. I think you're right. Well, I'm back to I'm about 6 weeks, 5 weeks without alcohol again, and it's just. With me, I find it's so, I don't know what your experience has been like, but for me, it's just straight away I lose about 5 or 6 kilos in weight. My skin improves. I just want to drink water all the time. And in fact, this time I've been really intense about it. And I've only been drinking water.
Well, I never.
And that's very interesting. Yeah. Because in the beginning, I was drinking like maybe 3.5, 4 liters of water a day. And the problem with that is it doesn't help you hydrate, because you just end up, urinating it all out.
Yes.
So the trick apparently is to sip it gently throughout the day so that you properly hydrate. So I've noticed a huge difference in sleep, and it's definitely, for me, it's a really good and obviously the intermittent fasting, which I've spoken to death about on here. I'm not going to bore people with it.
Here he goes again.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, okay. Well, that's very interesting. And yes, I imagine Coach Turner might have something to say about that, because we've been propagandized for a good couple of decades now, haven't we? About you're probably dehydrated. You've got to have 2 liters a day, and that means that people do go and fill up a glass of water and gulp it down. And I think you're absolutely right. These things don't come without a little bit of nuance, do they? Like most things in life, of course. So it's not just a matter of gulping down 2 liters. You probably would be better off sipping on 1 liter rather than killing your body and its reactions with 2 liters.
You're so right, mate. And the other thing that's interesting is that tea and coffee are actually very good hydration drinks, because you absorb about 40% of the water from tea and coffee. So they're both very, very good as well. So yeah.
Okay. All right. Good to know. And the little Portuguese coffee shot, 40% of that is not going to be a lot. So you might want your batonado or something a little bit longer, Americano, cheio, something like that. Okay.
I think cheio is a nice compromise, because the normal cafe for me is just a little bit too short and a bit too strong, but a cheio is kind of nice. You get a little bit more water in there and a little bit more of a drink. So I'm a fan of the cheos.
Yes, and in some cultures, of course, when you ask for an espresso, you are just automatically given a glass of water. Not in Portugal, I noticed. That doesn't happen very often, does it?
No.
It's like,
No.
Why would you want water when we've got coffee here, or beer, or aguardente?
Exactly.
Right.
See the old geezers having their cerveja or macieira at like 11 in the morning.
If sometimes that late, yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. Yeah, I was trying to be polite. It's actually earlier than that, but I was trying to be polite.
Right. So we have questions for you already, and issues to contemplate here on this Ask Anything About Portugal Wednesday. I want to ask you about the big match. I think that's tomorrow, isn't it? Spain and Portugal. Yeah. But before we go there, pineapples. When you're shopping for pineapple, which you probably do when you stopped fasting, at those times, you're making yourself a fruit smoothie for yourself and the kids. Ananas or abacaxi? Abakaji.
Ananas, I say.
But
Ananas.
have you seen abakaji as well in the shops? It's been brought to our attention this morning. There are 2 words for pineapple in
Are
Portuguese.
they two? Are they two different types of pineapple? Are they maybe the bigger or
Yes,
smaller? Maybe abacaxi is smaller.
correct. Yes, and it's a bit like the bananas, I suspect.
Yeah, yeah,
We eat Madeiran bananas, which are the little hand, aren't they, of
yeah,
the smaller fingers of a hand of bananas. In case you're wondering why what those little bananas are doing in the supermarkets, they're of course the Madeiran crop. More expensive because I think they're not grown in such great plantations and
right.
quantities, but it's quite a patriotic thing to do to buy a Portuguese banana and a Madeiran banana, as opposed to the other ones from the West Indies, which are really cheap. I couldn't believe it. My
Yeah,
lad went off. These sort of rites of passage for kids.
yeah,
We sent our eldest off to go shopping on his own. We were sat in the cafe bit of Pingo, by the way.
yeah,
We weren't sat at home watching telly,
yeah,
drunk.
yeah.
We go out, get some more booze. Give the note to the man behind the
And a packet of fags. Yeah.
it wasn't. It wasn't like that. I probably it
No,
wasn't like
no.
my. It wasn't like my childhood. So
Yeah,
there we are, sat in the cafe here of Pingados, and we needed to get a banana for his little brother. He's very fond of bananas, and we said, oh, "Okay, we'll send you off with some money." And we only had €1 left over in cash whilst we were sat there. So we're probably going to get a banana for €1. Sent him off. His little sister wanted to go with him as well. So they went off to do it. Very exciting. Hansel and Gretel inside the supermarket there. And they came back with like about 8 bananas. I know €2 we gave him. And he came back with 8 bananas. I'm thinking, well, how did you do that?
that's
Was
good
it
work.
old school where the lady in the shop said, oh, you haven't got enough money. Don't worry. Just
Yeah,
take
yeah, yeah, yeah,
one,
yeah, yeah.
158, everybody, for about 7 bananas. Not the Madeiran ones, I hasten to add, but that, cost of living crisis. Bananas are still pretty good value, I would say. Incredible food.
Yeah. It's
But
true.
there you
You've got to be so careful in the supermarket now, haven't you? Because
go. Yes,
you might make the wrong choice, and all of a sudden your shop is just out of control.
yes.
But you can still find value, which is good.
That is good to know. Still find a bit of value here in the Portuguese supermarkets there. So shout out to bananas.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and try the Madeiran banana as well. Different texture, different sweetness on
Yeah,
those.
they're quite similar to. It's a bit like in Spain when you buy bananas from Tenerife, because Tenerife is quite a similar climate to Madeira. It must be a
Ah,
similar situation that there's a lower production level, like in
yeah.
Madeira. So so in Spain, if you buy bananas from Tenerife, they tend to be more expensive, but a lot nicer. So yeah.
Well, you could argue, couldn't you, that they probably, given that they're less intensively farmed, because they're not going to be
And
on.
they have maybe they have less distance to travel as well, so maybe they're probably arriving fresh, or maybe I don't know. I mean,
Yep, it
I'm
could
not an
be.
expert in bananas, but I'd like to find out more about
Well,
it.
it could be a better conscientious choice to
Yeah.
go for the Madeiran. Although the hardcore people here would say, like, grow your own in your back garden under plastic if you really want to cut down
Wow,
on those
that's
food
possible
miles.
to do.
I believe it is possible to grow bananas in Portugal. Again, it's going to be. They're not going to be good. Bananas come from particular parts
No,
of the world for a good reason,
yeah,
don't
yeah.
they? But it is possible to grow bananas in Portugal. I'm but happy to stand corrected should that be the case. Now, talking of standing corrected, let's get to the questions here.
Okay.
Ryan's in, or Rian, I'm going to go for Rian Grunewald here. Good day. As a digital nomad coming on the D7 visa, is after 5 or 6 years that one can apply for citizenship, Michael? I've said it's after 5 years and you do it in the 6th year.
It depends. So, for example, there are quicker ways to do it. So, if you arrive in Portugal and you have a child in Portugal, your child now becomes automatically Portuguese, which I think you are then entitled to within 2 or 3 years. So that's
Results.
one way. That's one way to quicken the process. So if you can time your procreation with that, but the normal, yeah, you're right. The normal way
I've got to go. Can you run the show? I've got to go and do something.
Yeah. Exactly.
No, we already did that. We already did it. Sorry, we already did that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, 3 times. So with the D7, yeah, I mean Ryan is pretty much on the money there. I think it's 5 years. So you get your permanent residency for 5 years, and then you can apply for Portuguese citizenship after 5 years.
Yeah, and we were saying, somebody asked the question on Monday when Gilda was in, how long does the process take? She was saying anything up to 18 months, 2 years sometimes for the full thing to occur.
Yeah.
And is that something you're thinking about?
Yeah, I am. I keep putting it off, but you know what? I've got the permanent residency, and I always say this to people. The only real difference between having permanent residency and Portuguese citizenship is that you can vote and you get a residence card that you can then use to travel with. So
Yeah.
you don't need a passport within Europe. So those are the only two things. Oh, and maybe if you're looking to get a mortgage, it can be a little bit easier sometimes if you have a.
Yes. Okay.
But if you've been living in the country for a while, like me, and you've already bought property and you've got a good credit rating, then it shouldn't matter too much. So honestly, I would say, and for some people, you've got to think about it quite carefully because it depends on your own home country's policy. Because with some countries, you have to renounce your home
Mm.
citizenship. With the UK, for example, you don't. You can have dual citizenship and you can have a British passport and a Portuguese passport, no problem. But I think, for example, with the US, you can't. So it's
Yeah.
just worth bearing that in mind. So yeah, obviously great to become Portuguese if you want to, but it's not in any way an obligation. You can reside here permanently without it, and it's absolutely fine.
Excellent and comprehensive answer. Ryan, do let us know if that helps. And whilst we're on that matter then, adding into, what's this? It's a pop-up. Let me just get rid of that pop-up. Although that
Okay.
sounds quite nice, doesn't it? The art exhibition in Quinta do
Oh.
Lago from tomorrow until the end of the month. But Portugal's richest citizen, look who it is.
Wow. Oh my God.
Yes, he did it, didn't he?
Yeah.
And amid some controversy, let's dig a little
He didn't do it. He didn't do it through a golden visa. He did it through. It was to do with him being Jewish, I think.
That's right, the Sephardic Jewish route. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But now
Yeah.
look, Roman Abramovich's lawsuit so far unexplained, but Portugal. And I thought we might look at a few news stories. There are some interesting articles arising in the news at the moment. Not least the Lisbon airport being described as the worst in the world, Michael. Portugal's richest citizen, Roman Abramovich, has filed a lawsuit at the EU's General Court against the European Union Council, which imposed sanctions against him in March as part of measures targeting Russia and President Vladimir Putin's close allies. So that's a little bit awkward, isn't it? Or totally orcs.
It's totally orcs, as you say. Well, it's been quite interesting recently. We've got a British princess in Setúbal now. Did you hear about that?
That was another of my stories this morning. Let's have a look at that then and see what the.
Sorry, I've spoiled it.
No. I would say great minds think alike, and
Yeah.
we're talking about Princess Eugenie,
That's right.
which would be the way to say it in Portugal, wouldn't it? Eugenie.
Yes.
There she is. I'm not sure if you're seeing this yet on the screen. Let's have another look. Here we go. Oh, no, we're still not seeing it on the screen yet, but this is the article. Oh, there we go. We'll see a picture of her and her husband in just a moment.
I think it was to do with her husband's job. Her husband got a job in real estate in Portugal, and so they've both
really. Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
that's quite a good move, isn't it? If you're a real estate agent, to employ him, because people will want to see what he's like, won't they? I guess, or is that just me?
But, no. That to me would be. I mean, maybe he's a very good real estater as well, but that to me would be it's perfect PR, isn't it?
Isn't it just Princess Eugenie, the youngest daughter of the disgraced royal Prince Andrew. And that's in itself interesting, because I think the Archbishop of Canterbury was asking that people
I
go
was shocked when I read that article. Did you see that?
Yes, because
they should be forgiven.
Well, yeah, sort of he's trying to make amends, I think was the phrase used. But how can you forgive somebody who hasn't done anything wrong?
Could be old-fashioned, but anyone who's been accused of what he has, I think that's very, very. I mean, there's one thing is to forgive, the other thing is to forget, right? And I think that's where people were angry about what the Archbishop said, because the way he implied it, it's like, well, forgive and forget. So let Andrew have a normal life again. It's like, well, we can. Well, it's not up to us to forgive. It's his family and close friends and his mother. You can forgive, but you should never forget. I mean, this guy did some very dodgy things, allegedly.
Well, we don't. Yeah, exactly. But how can you? I mean, this is really having your cake and eating it too, isn't it? If you want to be forgiven for something you haven't actually confessed to, well, that's what's stuck in my craw a little. I have to say.
It paid off a lot of money to keep someone quiet, so it didn't go through the courts during the Jubilee. I mean, that's basically what happened, wasn't it? It cost
that's
12 million.
Allegedly, we should add, with all of this.
Well, no, that's true. He did do it. I mean, he was
Yeah.
he was forced to pay. If you pay £12 million to keep someone quiet, you're guilty. Let's not beat around the bush here. I don't care what anyone says like that. There is no way that man is innocent if he's paying 12 million.
Says
No
Michael at Avanlight.com, just for
There
the
you
record
go.
there. And I'm
Bring on your lawsuit, Prince
going to
Andrew.
drive around a little wider on this one. But seriously, I mean, the thing there, you know, to be that is the ultimate in what you might call privilege, or having your cake and eating it too, in the worst kind of, you know, lording it over other people kind of way. Is not only am I not going to face this thing, I'm going to pay. And then I'm not going to admit to anything. And I would like to be forgiven for the thing I didn't actually do, according to me. I mean, that's really having it always, isn't it?
And you know, imagine if someone was accused of the same thing and was poor and didn't have the same, you know, protection and social status and wasn't the son of the Queen of England. I mean, that's basically what saved him. So yeah, we shouldn't talk about this too more because this is a subject that is
it's a little bit parochial, isn't it? And you could also argue, I mean, I'm on thin ice here because I do say we don't talk about these sort of contentious things, and it is a bit parochial and British. But just as an adjunct to this story, his daughter is coming to Portugal with husband, who is his name Jack? Who is this then? The move is receiving particular emphasis in the British press due to the fact that it means the couple have quit Frogmore Cottage. How delightfully British is that? In the royal.
That's where Meghan and Harry. That's where Meghan and Harry have their residence.
So is that right? That's right. Leaving it free. Yes, leaving it free once again for Harry and Meghan.
Yeah, they're coming back for the Jubilee, so I think then these two have had to f off to Portugal. Yeah. That's the reason I think.
You've been promoted. You've been promoted to our royal correspondent here.
No, I don't want it. I don't want it.
I don't want it. All these big names sloshing around is the stuff of PR delight for Portugal, where the media has now picked up on the story describing the move as granddaughter of Elizabeth II moves to Melide. The princess's husband.
I tell you what, I have been in contact with a YouTuber, with an American YouTuber who has interviewed Thomas Markle recently.
Really?
And she's very interesting. Yeah, so she's called P. Dina. So if anyone's interested in watching YouTube content about the American perspective on all of this chaos and controversy with the royal family and Meghan and Harry and everything, then it's worth watching her content. So definitely
we do have American viewers who I suspect might think you're a member of the royal family, Michael, because you do have a certain stature and you're very well spoken. Do you want to address those rumors at this moment?
Nothing could be further from the truth. Nothing could be further from the truth.
He would like to add.
That's very kind and generous of people to think that of me, but that's not true at all. That's not
true. Yeah. But if you could, before the end of us talking today, throw in a few, you know, one thinks this, or if one reflects upon the
thing is, I've started the podcast. I've started with this, so that's already put me in a very good light with some people, maybe. But no,
the princess's husband's job will apparently be to market the 300-home resort, which is close to Comporta. Now, somebody mentioned Comporta. It's a place of the rich and famous, isn't it?
It's a place where royalty, European royalty, go on their summer holidays, on their summer jollies. So yeah, Comporta is one of the more refined holiday destinations for European royalty. So yeah, absolutely. So it doesn't surprise me that they've chosen Setúbal. It's probably where they feel comfortable. They've probably been there on holiday before, so they probably decided to live there because of that. I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, I never. And added spice to the story, just to close on this then, for anyone who's thoroughly sick of royals and this sort of our celebrity worship this morning, Michael, added spice to the story is that the couple's close neighbours, for holidays at least, could soon be, this is very speculative, isn't it, could soon be none other than the famous Clooneys. I don't know who they are, but
I did enjoy one period where, you know, there were a number of famous people who were either thinking about moving to Portugal or already moving in Portugal. And I like to imagine, you know, if you could pick your favorite celebrities who live in Portugal to have a night out, who would you pick? And obviously at one point we had Madge, we had Madonna. She'd be a good laugh. Eric Cantona still lives here. Like, this is so random. Can you imagine?
Really? No, I'm really enjoying this. I'm enjoing this already.
Eric Cantona and Princess Eugenie and her husband. I think that would be absolutely hilarious. So,
And the
yeah.
Clooney's then chucked in for
And the Clooney's, yeah. You've got a barrister there, so if you have any legal problems in the night, then she'll come and help you out. So
yes, okay.
yeah.
Well, yeah, I suppose Eugenie shouldn't go too far away from a lawyer at this time. Okay, so thank you for that. Any other Portuguese celebrities we missed? You didn't include Roman in there, did you? Or Roman?
No. Well, he'd be good to pick up the tab, I guess.
You don't need to come along. Just need to pay the bill.
Just give us your Amex, your black Amex card.
Bon dia. Found out that the Alentejo is bicycle touring paradise over the weekend. Now, this is my other question for you this morning on arrival, was because Sarah is in Setúbal, and it's not such a great distance to go to enter into the Alentejo region of Portugal. But Setúbal is it has its own district, of course, doesn't it? And is neighboured by Évora and Beja. Which I think Setúbal maybe is classed as the Alentejo already. So she's
remember this was a huge contentious issue when we had that competition. Do you remember? And I was facing off against the guy in the semi, and I was saying Comporta was Setúbal and it's Alentejo. It's actually Alentejo. So yeah, I nearly lost because of that technicality.
Oh my goodness, people are so pedantic, aren't they? They really are. And I can show you if you can zoom in at home, because I think it's quite important to know these districts. Oh, that is a bit too tiny, isn't it? But yeah, you're not going to see that very well. But Faro at the bottom, Beja, Évora heading upwards.
It's a bit early. It's a bit early for geography, isn't it? It's a bit early for geography, maybe.
I'll get rid of it. I'll take that off.
Yeah.
Good call. Good call.
Sorry, that was really rude of me. That was
geography on a tiny map. Okay. Right. Okay, let's move on then. So what is another good question from Rian or Ryan? Maybe you could let us know how we say that correctly, Rian or Ryan. And yes, it's been a while since we've looked at the comments, and they've come in thick and fast. Well, we turned our back and we're just distracted by the glitter of celebrity for a moment there.
Yeah.
And lots more comments from Sarah as well has followed through on there. Okay, what is the internet like? Just outside of towns, would it be possible to have a stable internet connection? I won't make that joke, don't worry. Just outside of Viseur, perhaps, if I want a property on a plot of land just outside the town. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, my advice would be do a series of tests before you buy the land or the property, right? Because
well said.
It can happen. Yeah, it can happen. It can vary a lot, especially in certain. I think in like the interior, it's not as bad. I think it's more. I mean, people will tell me their experience who live in coastal areas, but I find on the coastal areas, because of the weather, it can affect it. So it just depends.
Just like the weather. That's what I would add to this. Just like the weather, there are microclimates of weather, and there are microclimates of fiber connection and internet speed. And some people, because I put my phone number on the screen there, some people, was it you who suggested this, Michael? People using my phone number to test the speed of their internet. But some wag was doing that. And that's what you need to do, Rihanna. It is possible to live out in the countryside and have a really fast connection. Yeah. It's possible, but it's not a given.
Yeah, I mean, it's logical, isn't it? Because maybe there are less people living where you are, so there are less people trying to access the internet. Whereas if you live in a more populated area, I mean, God, I remember during the height of the pandemic when everyone was working at home, trying to work during the day was a nightmare. Because everyone was accessing the internet, and the internet companies weren't used to, because I think they know what their peak hours are, so they invest more in having a high-speed connection. But during the day, everyone's at work in an office, so that caused huge problems in my area.
That could be ideal then, couldn't it? So if they've laid fiber out to a remote part of Viseur,
it could almost be an advantage. It could almost be an advantage.
Yep, there you go, Rian. That's that to me sounds like a great life. A semi-rural.
Do your research. Do you know in the UK the fastest internet connection in the UK? Do you know where it is?
London. I'm going to go with
Stratford, because the BT Tower's there. So if you live in Stratford, or if you live near, or even if you live in the BT Tower, you will have the fastest internet connection and download and upload speeds in the UK.
Stratford upon Avon or Stratford in the East End of London?
Stratford, East London, Newham.
Oh, okay. I thought it was a little nod towards the bard there.
No, no,
Where here we are. We're thinking about the fastest internet speed in Her Majesty's Great Britain. Let's put it where the bard would have used it. It's
no,
not
no, no,
Stratford upon
no, no.
Okay.
Stratford,
All right.
Newham, East London. Yeah.
Back to Pineapple Gate. Pamela, you're making things more difficult, I think, because avocado is abacat, isn't it? And not abakaji. And if somebody, I'm not going to go to Pamela's house for a pineapple smoothie, although a avocado smoothie wouldn't be too bad, but not if you weren't expecting it. In Brazil, the whiter version is called the abacaji, and it does sound like a Brazilian word, let's face it. I was just saying how the X word in Portuguese is very sexy. That sounds like a sexily said, sexually conceived word there, abacaji. And the yellower version is called ananas. There you go. Not sure about the Portuguese distinction. Maxine, superb. It was like riding in New Mexico in the Alentejo. Just beautiful. No traffic to speak of. Like New Mexico, you have to carry lots of water, but worth it. It's those roads that we saw in Gloria, right? Those long roads.
Yes.
You can stop.
I haven't seen Gloria yet. I'll be honest. I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, I think you'd like it. I do think
Yeah?
you'd like it. Yeah. Avocado is abacat. That's right. Pamela, how could you? And she's come back with an abacaji. Thank goodness there's an emoji for every occasion. Okay, what's happening here with Pete to the prof? Odd to enjoy a bit of British weather. Heard you're up to the mighty 20s today. Maybe the day of summer is the day of summer. It's approaching.
The day of summer.
Yes, the hope all is going. Yeah, prof, hope all is well over there. Carl, the emphasis on abacaji is the last abacaji then. Abacaji. He's sounding even more Brazilian suddenly. Abacaji. Okay, thank you very much. And by exploiting lots of people, presumably that's how we get cheap bananas, as well as many other things in the world right now. But I don't know for sure. Oh, that's the richest family that we were talking about.
Yes.
Yes, the richest family.
They must not be named that we've already named, so we could.
No. This is a different rich family. This is the rich family special this morning. Going back to Maria Fernanda Amorim, and this is Prof's opinion on this because I don't know, and you know how I like to do my research, Prof, and find out for myself. Americo Amorim, a 601st place on the only Portuguese representatives on the Forbes list. But you've got to include Abramovich, have you not, on that? Because he is a Portuguese citizen, fair and square.
Yeah, absolutely. You do have to include him, yeah.
Okay, we've looked at internet coming into towns, and the Amorim family started the cork business in 1870 and built an empire after that. Thank you very much for that. Americo Amorim spent 6 decades in his family's cork business.
They own most of the major Portuguese businesses now, or at least have significant holdings in them. So energy. Galp, they own a lot in Galp, I think.
Okay.
Banks as well. Yeah. They're all like they have a lot, and it's old money as well. Old money.
And did he just recently celebrate a birthday? Maybe 90 years of age or something like that. Is that the same?
Yeah, sometimes when you go on a bit of a Wikipedia rabbit hole when you're doing research, that happened to me recently, and I'm sure I was reading about the Amorim family, and I can't remember a lot of the details now, but yeah, it's worth the read. It's interesting to read about it.
Okay, Americo Amorim there, and I think I did see a news article, and he's well loved, and this is often the way, isn't it? The super rich can be very well loved by some of their workers and some of their followers and acolytes and so on. Invested in an energy company and banks in several countries. Well, I suppose the rich get richer. If they know what they're doing. Bon dia, today is a colourful and beautiful day, says Gary. I've sent you pictures from Aveiro to prove it. You're in Aveiro. How lovely. Nice. Fantastic. I did notice, yes, there is a disturbance in the force when it comes to my WhatsApp this morning. And what's this worth? 4.8 billion. I don't know if that's Gary Orgles or Americo Amorim. Probably the latter. Mark's in as well. Bon dia, alegria a todos. Hope Michael has got over the annual yo-yo competition. What's that about?
Mark, oh, no, because this is our man from Norfolk, right? So he's talking about Norwich City and us getting relegated and then getting promoted and then getting relegated again. So, yeah, we got relegated from the Premier League this year.
Oh, no. Sorry.
Thanks for reminding me of that, Mark.
That's not very nice, is it? So Spain and Portugal play tomorrow, I believe. What's your view on that? This is a bit of warm-up for the and I choose my words rightly there, warm-up for the World Cup, summer in Christmas time.
Well, do you know what? I'm going to say something. I think this is just it's a really inappropriate and pointless time of the year to play football matches like this, because the players are absolutely exhausted. They're absolutely exhausted. They just played a full season. So players that have played for Liverpool, for example, they've played over 60 matches this season. So to expect them to then play in an international, I know this is the League of Nations, so technically it's not a friendly, but it's dressed up as a friendly. So I honestly, I have no interest in it, because I think you're going to see probably third or fourth string teams, because most of the top pros are just on holiday now, that they're exhausted. They can't play any more football for now. They need at least 2 weeks off, 3 weeks of doing nothing.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Nice analysis and a little flavor possibly of your forthcoming work. Can we mention it now, or is it a secret for the time being?
Oh, it's still a secret. It's still a secret. Yeah.
You will hear about it first on here when Michael is ready. Spain versus Portugal head-to-head. Then the last 3 clashes ended in draws. The last meeting had finished in a 0-0 draw. These two had locked horns in the 2018 World Cup in the group stage, when the spoils were shared with a 3-3 draw, and 2 of the past 5 encounters had 4 or more goals. Will you watch it?
I can say something briefly about this fixture. It is extremely tasty from the Portuguese perspective, because let's just say, and how can I put this in the most diplomatic and polite way possible?
You haven't bothered so far. Come on.
Yeah. But with this one, I think it's important to. The Portuguese, let's just say, have a rather complicated relationship with their Spanish neighbours, shall we say. A bit like maybe the way the Scottish perceive the English. And I'll never forget it. Arrived in Portugal in 2014. Well, in fact, 2 days ago, it was 8 years that I arrived in Portugal. And obviously, then the Brazil 2014 World Cup happened, right? So I was watching that, and one of the first matches was Spain against the Netherlands. And for those of you who remember, the Netherlands beat Spain 5-1. They absolutely destroyed them. And I'll never forget hearing my neighbours above me screaming with delight, like cackling, giggling. I've never heard people so delighted at another country's misfortune. And I was like, wow, like this is a real baptism of fire. So yeah, it's just something to be aware of. This is the Spanish don't care really, but the Portuguese, they will really want to beat Spain tomorrow.
Okay, tomorrow night then. Go. I mean, if you've not experienced football in a group situation in Portugal, it's a really good experience, isn't it? To go to your local cafe. I don't think you'll have to go far tomorrow night to find the match on somewhere publicly. Go in, watch it, have a beer, whatever, and soak it up and get a little insight into that part of the Portuguese psyche for that particular match. Okay. Yesterday, I was chatty Cathy and got too busy with the comments of Miss Karen and the ladies' interview today. I'll be quiet and listen to Michael. Worth looking at that interview yesterday. It was really good. But thank you for your attention this morning, Moaz. Anyone passing through Leiria? Owen would like a lift and a meetup if anyone can organise that. Anstobal is its own district. We can take the train to Beja and set out from there. It's just awesome. Looking forward to more of your input about cycling in Portugal. And I always recommend you, Sarah, to anyone who's thinking of cycling here in Portugal. Morning, Michael from Pete. Been a while since we saw you. Hope you are having a great time, fella. João F as well. Good morning, everyone. And Marty has sent another picture of midnight in Alaska. Michael, have you been to Alaska?
No.
Okay, we've got a picture of Alaska at midnight. It's quite extraordinary. And we are, 1st of June, and loving it in Portugal. I think this is the picture. This could be anything. The images are so small. What am I showing everybody now?
Wow,
yeah,
that's mad,
midnight. You can play football at midnight. Like, that's incredible. Thank you, Marty, for that. Quite extraordinary. I think we've got a video as well, so I might squeeze that in at the end after Michael's gone to work. Tea is called tea. We love that story. If it goes by sea, and chai if it goes by land. Always love that one. So there you go. You're right. Transporta e voras aromáticas. I think things that are being transported that are aromatic herbs, that means something entirely different these days, I suspect. Abacaxi or pineapple, 5 or 6 years, citizenship 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, 2 years driver's license. All depends on who you ask. Yes, but we try.
How long is a piece of string, James? That's basically the right way to answer that.
Yes,
for
let's
sure.
say we're indicative here rather than definite, because such is the culture. My son bought a book from the artist that made Tokyo Ghoul. What gorgeous work! Kawaii always gets people talking about the Japanese cartoons. What do they call it? Is it anime? Had got
They call it manga as well, don't they?
Manga, that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Had the 3 estate agents in yesterday and an evening in the theatre. No pool time. I think, Prof, you need to get that Eugeni's husband in to sell your gaff.
Yeah,
His
definitely.
capital, his social capital is good right now. And it was Catherine of Braganza. There you
There we
go.
go.
Who we have to thank for still being alive, mainly in the UK. Portugal, a country where deep research is often required for definitive answers. Yes, and getting distracted is all part of it as well.
Yes.
Wilfing, I haven't heard this phrase for a while, but it used to be an internet thing. Wilfing, WILF. What was I looking for? 2W, sorry. You know,
Okay.
I wilfed off there and started looking at Portuguese billionaires instead. The play looked good. I thought it was a Mark Heap for a second. What's this? I've seen him live a few times, and he is great. So dry. Who are we talking about there? Not Eugeni's husband, I don't suppose. England was drinking tea already before Katerina arrived, says Elra, but she did introduce the ceremony. Oh, she's blasted my story there. The whole drinking in porcelain and cakes, cookies with the tea. Okay, so she refined our processes. And I wonder because milk is an addition to tea, isn't it? And I heard that was to stop the porcelain from staining, and why people put milk in first. When really it's better in last, isn't it?
Yes.
Watching the last 2 days back alone is not the same as being with everyone. It's so true. It's so true. It's always good to do it live. The story is also that the English phrase "cup of cha" is based on the Portuguese word for teacher. I think that's right, isn't it? Or it could be chai as well, which of course is used around the world.
Yes.
Yes. The details and the effort that goes into that manga is astonishing. Anime is are the moving ones, the moving manga anime. Is he using it as a case study for practice? Look at this. Always talk about the manga when Kawaii's here. No surprise there, really. Interesting question for Michael then. Important question. Spurs to win the Premier League 2023. And who is your pick for the Christmas World Cup? Great questions. Thank you, Pete.
Yeah. I don't agree Spurs will win the Premier League next year, but I think they will challenge for sure because they will do very, very well. Christmas World Cup, I think it will be a team that is used to playing in heat, even though Qatar isn't going to be what it is in June or July, but it's still going to be like 26, 27 degrees. So do I envisage seeing Harry Kane running around with a very red face and puffing a lot? Yes. So I don't think England will win. I can see Brazil, maybe. Brazil look very strong.
Yeah.
Or even an African country like Senegal, maybe. They're looking very strong as well. So I'd pick a country whose players are used to playing in a warmer climate. I think that's likely to happen. But I think I said this to you before, Carl. What's going to be fascinating is because the World Cup is happening earlier on in the football season, I think the players will be a lot fitter and in better shape. So it could be the standard of the football could be a lot higher. It could be really good. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. What are Qatar's own chances?
Zero.
None.
Depending on how much money they've spent to buy off referees. Whoops, did I say that? I shouldn't have said that. I didn't say that. No, I didn't mean that at all.
So controversial this morning. I'm pleased to hear this. Fizz doesn't count, says Louise this morning. Yeah, we thought that. We had an instinctive sort of feeling about that. It didn't count. 5 cups, not of fizz, but of coffee is the opposite and dehydrates you. Well, yeah. It's all about moderation, isn't it? For me, Michael looks like a character from...
Wow. Oh, my God.
Sorry, I couldn't get to the end of that sentence, but I agree, Moaz. He does
clearly you do, mate. Clearly you do. You couldn't stop laughing. You couldn't even get to the end of that.
He's just so refined and elegant.
They don't know me that. You know me better to know that that's absolutely not the case. That's why you're laughing.
Lord Herron of Cascais will be with you in just a moment. The caffeine in coffee is a diuretic, which is dehydrating, not hydrating, but you need to drink lots of it for the dehydrating effect. So maybe it evens out in a small amount. There you go. Brilliant stuff. Oh, Jacqueline Branco's here. How you doing, Jacqueline?
Good morning, Jacqueline.
Okay, good stuff. And Galfanawa, what does that mean? Joao F, good to see you here this morning. I'm ignoring the comments because I know you're speaking to each other. I'm just being nosy occasionally when I read them. I'm expecting a new baby girl in August. Nice one, Lee. Does that mean I have to stay in Portugal forever? Well, technically you can, But that is the gift your child is bringing you. So congratulations, mate. It's such lovely news.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Yeah. Okay. So but you can truncate or kaleidoscope. No, not kaleidoscope. Bring forward your plans of citizenship if you have them on account of your excellent news there.
Yeah.
I've been in mercados where fruits labeled pineapple in the bin had labels saying abacaxi. And vice versa, making me think, even the fruit vendor here doesn't know the difference. The plot thickens, doesn't it, with the old Pineapple Gate this morning? A real can of worms this morning.
I can imagine people going into their local communities and starting arguments with their local supermarkets and shops. Yeah,
that's right. I heard on the Good Morning Portugal show this morning that it should be. Okay. What is this? If I want to register, this is probably for citizenship, isn't it?
Yeah.
And yes, you can have 2 passports with the US. Yeah, when you were talking about that, Michael, the US don't want to let you go. I think you have to pay to leave the US. And there are 2.
That's a complete misunderstanding I have of it. And I thought they were one of the countries where you couldn't do it. That's good to know. Well, that's great.
You can have 2 passports. They don't want to lose your tax dollars. You still have to file your tax return. I think there's 3 countries where you have to file tax returns even if you've left, the US, Somalia, and there was another one. But I had images of, spies, how you see in a Jason Bourne or James Bond movie, a wad of passports and different currencies and so on. You can have dual citizenship with Portugal from the US. Good to know. Thank you, Michael from Kauai. Pandas, I guess I'm a poor researcher because trying to find a straight answer on Google left me confused.
You can be the best researcher in the world and get confused on Google. So don't feel bad about it.
Don't feel bad about that. If I want to register and import my car from Sweden, can you recommend a site where to begin the process? Well, we recommend joining ACP to help you with that. Or second to that, go to the forum and find out what other people's experiences are. Anna, expatsportugal.com/community. Generally speaking, though, we do shy away from matriculation of imported vehicles, don't we, Michael?
Yeah, and it's you can do it yourself, but it is worth finding an expert to help you because it can be quite cumbersome, the process of doing it.
Not plain sailing. Although I did meet someone at the weekend who showed me the car that they imported from Florida without too much trouble, it has to be said. They were very attached to the vehicle. That's often the way to do it. Sometimes it's really not worth it, but if you're especially attached, emotionally attached to the vehicle, that is a good case.
Normally it's worth it because of especially coming from the US, because the value of cars are so much lower compared to Portugal. So generally speaking, it is.
Do the math, as our American friends would say. So this goes back to Roman Abramovich. He may be losing his citizenship, investigation ongoing. But isn't this how every controversy is dealt with now? We'll investigate it and hope that you forget about this and things.
100%, 100%. Yeah, and no one cared before. So.
Indeed. That's an interesting point. Can US citizens get dual? Yes, indeed. We've answered that, Sarah. Ask anything about Portugal Wednesday with Michael Heron from the telly, Downton Abbey. As long as her dad doesn't visit, it's okay.
Exactly. Yeah. Agreed. We can all agree. What? There we go. Whoopsie.
I didn't need to put that on the screen there. Michael has been doing his PR training, throwing the allegedly in. He did.
Yeah, after I then blew that out the window. So
he withdrew his allegedly. Actually, I did take a wide arc around that. All inquiries to Michael at Avanlight.com, please. Actually, many accidental Americans are not aware they are American because they were born in the US and then go back to their countries. It causes so many problems for them with the IRS. Wow, Carl's laughter is contagious. That was me. But I do need a good feed on that. Michael's a very good person to be laughing with at, and that it was the Downton Abbey comment that really got me started this morning, which I don't think I'm going to forget, Michael. Let's launch an investigation into this, shall we? And then hopefully we will forget. Miguel Avanlight, 197th in line to the Argentinian throne.
There's so many things incorrect with that. We'll just carry
on. Very, very informative.
That's the historian. That's the channel's historian, right? So
it is. Does he need firing after that?
I think he needs a word. He needs a warning.
You just Googled that, I think, Prof. Okay. Right. Hold a minute. Do you mean born in the US and then moved as babies, like maybe migrant families? Never heard of this before. Interesting. Oh, that's at Moaz, not at you there. And very informative video. Well, we intend to be a little bit of fun, a little bit of information. and a whole lot of community here on the Good Morning
Absolutely.
Portugal show. Michael Heron this morning. Very informative. Thank you very much from Hara Brach there. I'd have lunch with John Malkovich any day.
Yeah,
Is
he's
he
the other. I don't think he lives here, but he owns a nightclub, and he spends a lot of time in Portugal. Yeah, I would definitely have lunch with John Malkovich. Agreed, 100%.
Yeah. Okay, I always got to read out Pete's before I put them on the screen. I don't even understand this. Afraid it's not. B4RN, a farmers network in Northumbria, has recorded the highest speed. You've been
Oh, yeah,
challenged.
I was talking about in
Yes,
the
internet
UK.
speed.
Yeah, there you
Okay.
go. There you go.
My speed out in the sticks is faster than I had in London. That proves what we were saying then, that a good connection, that's to Ryan, wasn't it? A good connection out in the sticks is possibly the best of all scenarios. Carl, actually, many words in Portuguese with the letter X are of Arabic origin, not Brazilian then, as I thought, though don't think that's the case for abacaxi. Weight the emphasis on the I. Thank you, Maxine and Elra. I can always rely on you with the pronunciation notes there. And pronunciation itself has a pronunciation issue, doesn't it? Do you say pronunciation or do you say pronunciation? On Downton Abbey, it would be pronunciation, wouldn't it?
Pronunciation.
Okay. Americo is dead. Long live. No, Americo is dead. His widow has the money now. Okay. Sorry for my misinformation.
That must be why I went down that Wikipedia rabbit hole. I think he died recently, maybe that's why.
Okay. Yep. Fair enough. If I want to import a car from Sweden, yeah. Okay, Anna, we've done that. But ACP is a good starting point, as is our forum, of course. Michael, you put in great performances last game. It's funny, isn't it? How people. It sounds like you actually played. You know, we won, and you put in a great.
We lost 5-0, so he's baiting me then. He's probably a Tottenham fan, so yeah.
He certainly is. Back to how to say it's not over yet. Abacaxi, as I understand it, X is pronounced shh, abacaxi, and not like Jaja. With the emphasis in the last syllable. Abacaxi. Did I get that right, my Portuguese amigos? Amigas, I think there. It's not complicated. They keep bloody invading. Afghan is here, everybody. What's this? Sounding like a Brexiteer suddenly this morning, Prof. It's not complicated. They keep bloody invading, coming over it. What is he talking about? Is this football now? Is this rich people? Okay. Spain versus Portugal. I would like a draw, please. Yes, that works for Victoria, I think, diplomatically and politically. And yes, it's a truly amazing the competition between Portugal and Spain. So tomorrow night for that fixture. I think I might have missed a country, says Moaz there. Humanitarianly, I wish all the best.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do. I don't think you do. I think that's a lie.
Come on, Laura. Yeah, that's just what you're meant to say. Yeah, and we know you'll be screaming at the telly. That joy has a perfect word for it. Schadenfreude, of course. Yes, you're absolutely right. So Michael's upstairs neighbour enjoying the Schadenfreude there. We all like a bit of that every now and then, don't we?
Yeah, of course.
Matty especially. Bon dia, Antonio, from Miguel Luis Sousa Dias. Good morning to you, Miguel. And you are, of course, Miguel Garza. We translated your name the other day, Michael. It sounds great. Yeah, we were talking about you in your absence.
Yeah. No, do you know what I discovered this quite recently as well. With in Spanish as well. In Spanish, it's Garza. It's almost the same word. So yeah, it's nice. It's a great translation.
It is, isn't it? It sounds like a spy or some sexy guy called Miguel Garza. Here he is. He's on the screen with you now, and of course, he is an amazing, sexy guy. Does he cover Stockwell? This amazing. Do you cover Stockwell, Michael?
No.
Or if you're posh, Stockel, I suppose you would say, like Bertercio or Clam and Stockel. There. Gumpers, less than half of us have fondled that like button. It's hydrating. It's not dehydrating to press the like button. Do so for this great show. Thank you, Cindy.
Does that affect you financially if people hit more likes? Does that help your
I have no idea. Michael, I'm so disappointed with this YouTube thing. Not disappointed, but confused, you know. I thought it was going to be everything to reach 10,000 subscribers as we have on our YouTube channel. And it's, if anything, the small bit of income we do make from the YouTube channel has gone down, if anything, since that happened. So I don't know. These algorithms, of course, are a heavily guarded secret with lots of speculation around them. I love it. I just love the idea of people hitting the like button because, you know, I get a little bit of what's it called? You know, appreciation, I suppose, or what we're doing here is a little bit of appreciation. It's nice, but I really have no idea from a from I'm sorry, I'm just laughing at another comment here that I've seen that you probably have as well. Yeah, I don't know, but yes, hit that like button anyway, just for the fun and the hell of it. Now this is not we're talking about.
I hope he's not referring to Prince Andrew with that.
Good retort, sir. Okay, brilliant. Oh, I think, and maybe he's talking about Lee. Sorry, he was just giving congratulations to Lee for his expecting of a child there. Yeah, and he's not actually having the baby. I mean, this is a time in human history where such things are spoken about. But I think Lee is not that kind of guy who will be carrying the child himself. I think he's outsourced that, if you like.
He's not Arnold Schwarzenegger in Junior just yet.
Not yet, but I would watch that if Lee does a remake of that. I'd watch it. My kids are waiting to move here to have their second baby. They don't want another born in the US there. So on the matter of citizenship, English and British people are generally love. It's true, isn't it? The great relationship going back to 1380. I did try and ask. I think a Rebel Mama instigated some discussion about the connection in history between America and Portugal. You see it in Gloria, which you haven't seen yet, Michael, but definitely our Treaty of Windsor 1386, I believe, is a historical record of how far the relationship goes back. And it is a good one. Did you know that English people are tourists here since the 11th century AD? Were they coming as tourists, though, then? Or were they coming to see what they could take from the country? And that was often the basis of many English outings, I think, back in the day. But do you know anything more about that?
Maybe like a bit of a tickle back. Who knows? We'll never know.
In our conflicts against the Moors there. So if not geography, a bit of history this morning, Michael. Yes, by Jove, he's got it. That's a My Fair Lady Pygmalion reference to me there. Thank you, Maxine. Let's remake that movie with me playing the part of Audrey Hepburn. And you, who is the guy in My Fair Lady? Pronunciation is just plain. Indeed, it's the pronunciation. By Jove, he's got it. Yeah, thank you, Maxine, for that. Amigos is plural and inclusive. All right. My goodness, it's a bit tetchy this morning. US don't say pronunciation, we say pronunciation. Look at that, the pronunciation of pronunciation. And does Schadenfreude play left back for Borussia Mönchengladbach? As right on as he is, he's not afraid to go there with a stereotype every now and then.
He doesn't mind a little bit of it, does he?
He likes a bit of that, doesn't he? We love that about you as well. And he's the purveyor of dad jokes. Come on, Michael's here. He's a dad. He needs a few dad jokes in his arsenal and his armory. From Taxi, still sleeping at 4:54 a.m. Hi, Gumper. Suze is back in Canada. Isn't that amazing?
Amazing.
Okay. I love history. Braganza, yay! And Professor Higgins, by Jove. But who's the actor? Was it? No, I'm not even going to guess. Yes, let's remake that movie. And look at this. You're being congratulated, James. Good that you say about the word amigos. It's not amigas, as I said. Amigas is probably something to do with cabbage, potato, and the thing you eat with barbecue chicken, amigas. I get mush with the present stupidity of people saying amigas, amigos, portugueses e portugueses. If I pronounce that correctly, I think Maxine's going to be straight on me about that. I get mush. Now, that is a good phrase that we need to learn about as well. Is that a thing? I'm getting mush here with your comments, maybe. And I love how Americans control the GP show. And the host is British. Just kidding.
Yeah, it's true. Do you know what? I've always thought it's actually it's incredible how many dedicated American viewers you get that tune in at this time, despite it being, for some of them, like 4 a.m. So we
love each and every one of them. Absolutely. Look, there's a question that gets asked every now and then that flushes people out. Andy Hyde flushed out answering the question. Rexy Harrison, of course, Professor Higgins. And I don't know why I didn't know that. I mentioned that I lived in Devon when I was a postman there. I delivered post to Rexy's house and to I think where his son lives now, Noel Harrison, the singer of Windmills of Your Mind. What a tune. What a tune.
Oh, wow.
We're coming up to 10 o'clock. Professor Higgins was played by Rex Harrison. Well done to everybody who got that right. No prizes for that, but they didn't leave us guessing. Okay, Gumpers. Lag is doing me in. Complicated relationship with Spain. They keep invading. You should get Eugenie's husband to sell your flat. Does he cover stock? Well,
anyone who's just tuned in will have no idea what that means. But for everyone who's watching the beginning,
probably, anyone who's just tuned in will probably never tune in again, thinking, "What?"
Yeah.
Michael, you've been awesome, or should I say, Lord Herron of Cascais, from the Downton Abbey telly program.
197th in line to the Argentine throne.
Exactly. We found out so much about you today.
Yeah.
And it is not a Portuguese thing to say, I get mash. Although that sounds good, it is, I get mad, of course. Rex could not sing. He spoke his words, of course. And his son carried on, I think, with Windmills of Your Mind as well in the family tradition. Great outing today with Ask Anything About Portugal with Michael Heron. Anything you wanted to say that we've deprived you of saying so far, Michael?
No, nothing. No, I'm just really happy to be back. It was great, a lot of fun, and then look forward to seeing you all again in a month. So thanks for having me, mate.
All right. I will see you in a little while, Michael. Just got a couple of videos and pickies to share.
Whenever you want, mate.
Anyone who wants to get in touch with Michael, do so at michael@avanlight.com. And if you see him in the street, just shout out or just whisper, "Hola, Miguel Garza." He'll know where he knows you from. Nubianet is one of those Americans you mentioned. Eyes are closed. It's 2 in the morning. Wow. Bless you, Karen Nubianet. There, superb. Okay, cheers, Michael. See you soon, mate.
Yes, thanks very much. All the best. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, I think we've got a couple of videos and some pickies. I don't like to neglect showing your photos. This wasn't one of your photos, but there are the jandals, or the jeandals, the sandals made of denim, just so that you can see that one more time, and Alaska at midnight. Quite extraordinary, that, isn't it? While you're savoring the jandals for a moment, let me see what else might have come in, because I think there are some important things. What's that? It's about Davos. That's probably not for this show, is it? Gary, I think, has taken a nice photo for us. Oh, the Aveiro pictures. Excellent stuff. Yeah, and we still haven't had the message from somebody in the United States who gets in touch with us watching on the replay. You can record, you can record a WhatsApp voice note. Please do that. Send it to me on 00351 913. No, hold on. 00351. The multitasking just got to me then. 00351 913 590 303. These are very, very beautiful pictures of Aveiro. So do bear with me while I bring these onto the screen from Gary. Has that changed your mind at all? And have you got a case of San Martino de Porto syndrome there? Gary, up in Aveiro. I know you had set your heart on Castanea de Pera. Are you thinking, oh, I like it here as well? Do let us know. So let me just put on your images while I see it. Well, others have come in. I know we've got something in from Victoria this morning as well. But thank you so much for these. These are very beautiful. They are of Aveiro. And they're coming onto your screen right now. 2 minutes after 10. We'll see you tomorrow. I think Wiley's on tomorrow. Move to Portugal Thursday. We're going to talk to Wiley tomorrow. Look at this. Isn't that beautiful? Nice pull focus on that, my friend. And here's the colour he's talking about in Aveiro. I think is that the market hall in Aveiro? And this beautiful close-up of the Madonna there, Our Lady, Nossa Senhora. They've done something there, haven't they, in the Forum? I do like shopping. It's kind of half inside, half outside the Aveiro Forum, and it's quite close to the canal. Well, it's right next to the canal, and they have done something very beautiful there, haven't they, for the summer? Look at that colour. Portugal does this sort of thing so well, does shopping so well, I have to say. Okay, who else has sent me things that I don't want to deprive you of this morning? This morning's palette. Yes, stick around for... we've got a video now, I think, from Victoria this morning. The colour palette, the expansive Praia da Rocha as seen from the Miradouro dos Três Castelos. We've got a half-minute video for you, which I'm going to play you now. Thank you so much, Victoria, for this. A couple more things if you want to stick around. See you at the meetup, everybody, 1 till 3 on the Silver Coast here at Palmeira, 1 till 3 at Nelson's Place later on today. But here's a video for you.
Beautiful day inside Russia.
Hold on a minute. I've got another one from Marty to come, another video. But that was superb, Victoria. I love the reveal there. You're going up the calçadas, up the steps. And then what's this over the hill? What's that coming over the hill? It's Pride of Russia. It's Pride of Russia. Here is another video for you from Marty. I haven't watched this. There could be all sorts contained in this video. You've got to be careful, haven't you? When people send you videos on WhatsApp. Trusted source, Marty now. And I think we'll finish with a lovely still from maybe the midnight in Alaska and whatever else we have here. But Marty, thank you for this. I think this is out and about at midnight in Alaska.
Good morning, Gumpers. It's a few minutes before midnight, late Tuesday evening. And here we are in Anchorage, Alaska.
Hello. Oh, lovely to see your dog there as well, Marty. Anchorage, Alaska at midnight. What happens to the animals? Do the birds still sing at midnight? Incredible. Okay, thank you so much, Marty, for sending those in from Alaska. I love your pictures from all around the world. Do keep sending them in on 351, the country code 913-590-303. And we'd love a voice message. You saw how easy it was from Marty there to even send a video. We'll be delighted to include those. If you're coming to Portugal, if you have a love of Portugal, send us some pics from where you are right now. We would love to feature those. Here's another picky from Praia de Rocha. Look at that. That's the color palette. I think that's how you described it this morning, Victoria. Yeah, this morning's palette. Look at those colors this morning. A bit cloudy, as she said in her earlier weather report. Thank you very much for that, Victoria. I think that's everybody. If I missed anything, do forgive me. Please, and remind me to show them. We have a lot coming in to the Good Morning Portugal show. Thank you to you for all of that. But occasionally something gets missed. I don't mind being reminded. And in that time, Matthew Crawley just left the show. Oh, is that he's lookalike as well? Miguel Garza there. Hola, Antonio. Ubi is here. Appreciating your comments, Ubi, wherever I see them on YouTube or over on here. Okay, eyes are closed. It's 2 for Nubian. Let's keep our voices down now, shall we? And talk continuing about the plurals, right? And the gender and pluralization. I think there. And nothing wrong, says James, with including all, but in the native language of the country, this inclusion is done with the masculine form if we choose to respect that language. 3 weeks until the summer solstice for Marty, who shared with us those lovely images this morning. That is a big deal here in Alaska. I'm sure it is. Still seeing light here at 1 a.m. Whoa. Wow, so pretty. I could be shopping, just bumping into people while staring at the ceiling. Yes, in Aveiro, you could well do that. Isn't that lovely? Thank you, Gary, for those this morning. And, of course, lovely Alaska, says Victoria, appreciating that as well. And the discussion continuing. Maybe that's something we'll do on our Monday night show. Yes, the sewage pipe for the politics is a Monday night show with me. My question to you is, this is the name of the live stream and the podcast. 10 o'clock on a Monday evening so that people can tune in live from America. Make it a little bit easier for the American folks to join us for that. And some of the conversations that we have here of a more controversial and political nature, we do have a place for it. But here, the Good Morning Portugal show is all about loving life in Portugal, helping people to move to this lovely country and helping people enjoy, celebrate, and share their life here in Portugal once they've got here. All courtesy of expatsportugal.com. Make sure you remember, please. And we'll see you tomorrow with Wiley. Take care, folks. Have a great day. Maybe see you at the meetup. Ciao for now.